When someone is able to see your art go from this to this, by the time you get here, they're invested. What's up, my art friends? My name is Jasmine. I'm a digital illustrator and content creator, and today I'm going to be talking about my 5 tips for beginner artists. Let's get started. My number 1 tip for beginner artists is to adopt the you versus yourself mentality. You may ask,
Jasmine, what does that mean?
Well, I'm glad that you asked. A lot of times as artists, it's really easy to fall into the trap of comparing your art to someone else's art, especially in the age of social media where we literally have access to pretty much everyone's art in the world. When I started making digital art, I found myself scrolling through Instagram trying to find inspiration and ended up being depressed. I came across all of these talented artists who had these huge followings on Instagram. They had tens of thousands of subscribers on YouTube, and instead of getting inspiration from their art on how I could improve my art, I started looking at my art as not good enough, which is probably something that a lot of people struggle with. But what I didn't realize then is that I was digging myself into a never-ending hole. A lot of artists that we see on social media have been in the game for a long time. So when you think about it, I would be doing myself a disservice by comparing my journey at the very beginning to their journey, which is probably a lot further along. Do you know what I'm saying? They've had a lot more years, a lot more experiences, a lot more failures, and a lot more success because of time. They've just been doing it longer. So I had to reframe my mindset. Instead of constantly comparing my art to someone else's, I had to start comparing my art on day 1 to my art on day 3, my art on day 3 to my art on day 7, and so on and so forth. That is how you truly measure progress. My second tip for beginner artists: use references. Please, please, please use references. If you don't know what an art reference is, it's basically a visual example that artists use for inspiration and information. For example, if I'm trying to draw a hand, which, let's face it, a lot of us have problems with. I don't know what that's about, but hands are hard. So there's a few ways that I can do that. I can position my hand the way that I want and draw it out the way that I see it in front of me. I could take a picture of my hand in the position that I want it and draw it that way. Or I can search hand references on the internet. Places like Pinterest, Google, and Instagram are all my top 3 on where I find different references for different subjects. But there is a catch, and this is very important. When you're using a reference, especially when you're using an entire body or a landscape or something like an entire piece of artwork, please, please, please remember to emulate and not imitate. If your artwork and someone else's reference looks the exact same, that, my friend, is copyright infringement. And you don't want to do that. Consider it to be the golden rule for artists. Treat other people's art the way you would want your own art to be treated. If you spent hours and hours creating a beautiful piece of art and someone came along and copied your art exactly and claimed it as their own, I don't think you would like it. So steer clear from that. And if you do use someone's artwork and decide to post it on social media, make sure that you tag them. It's just common courtesy. My third tip for beginner artists is to set realistic goals. Now, if you're just doing this art thing because you want it to be a fun hobby, that's totally fine. But this tip is for my artist friends who could see their art as being another stream of income. In order to successfully set a goal, you want it to be SMART. Your goal needs to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. My fourth tip for beginner artists is to trust the process. I know, it's cliche, but it's true. Improving your art won't happen overnight. It's gonna take time and it's gonna take effort, but you'll get there, I promise. My fifth and final tip for beginner artists is to show your journey. Now this one's a hard one. We're in the age of social media where everyone only posts the good and no one wants to post the bad and the ugly. But let me tell you why sharing your art journey now is so important. People want to see progress. When someone is able to see your art go from this to this, by the time you get here, they're invested. Don't wait until your art is perfect to start sharing it. And you never know. Chances are your journey may encourage somebody else to get started on their journey. And that turns into a beautiful, artistic ripple effect. And anything that puts more art in the world, it's worth doing. I hope this video helped. Be encouraged. Keep creating art. The world needs more of what you have. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.